New Standards by P.B. Wadia. The democracy of spirit makes every man a purohit, or a priest unto himself, and therefore would abolish that irreligious institute which invests certain human beings with the power to dispense to men on earth the grace of God in heaven. 2. The religion of self-expression in terms of understanding and action by every man, since he in his inmost nature is divine. Worship by and through work intelligently undertaken and understandingly executed by the power of God, which is man himself. Religious creeds are different from religion. 3. An appreciation of life by the religion of heart expression. Since all men are divine, they should live by the energy of their own heart, their own religion, discarding creeds which are imposed from outside. And in that context, I think I should go back to a comment I should have made earlier, and that is to remind you that we have been in conversation for quite some period of time. It wasn't Rabbi Friedland, though, I think was one of the students of Elie Wiesel. But Rabbi Norman Solomon, who maintained, and I'll give you the background, the key issue we discussed a few years ago is to examine the scope and nature of the work that can realistically and pragmatically be carried out to ensure that the exegetists and religious authorities of both Christians and Muslims are kept in check and held to account by their adherents regarding what they disseminate from their respective pulpits and what interpretations they offer with regard to difficult texts. As I said, I sat in Turkey on the ground in the mosque with Jews, Christians, Muslims, men and women. And one of the Muslims said, I wish you were allowed to do this in the Muslim world. An interesting thought. I don't know how long I would survive that one. The power such authorities and individual clerics wield in either promoting conciliatory attitudes or fomenting negative ones should not be underestimated, especially in certain cultures that are particularly prone to virtually revering their religious leaders and following their directives. I don't find any issue with what you said publicly, Rabbi Greenberg, because you said it publicly. And you said, I felt welcomed in this gathering, which you are, and we appreciate your saying what you said to us publicly. But I would add here, or rather, and I would add here, in this vein, we have much to learn from luminaries of our cousin religion, Judaism. Rabbi Norman Solomon maintained, and I quote, how can we continue reading texts as sacred literature when we reject them from an ethical perspective? The very least we can expect from rabbis and spiritual leaders is that they respond to the heartfelt moral dilemmas of those who turn for guidance to traditional sources and utilize to the maximum the available strategies for interpretation of difficult texts. Nowhere is this more urgent than in the area of mutual respect and recognition amongst Jews and the rest of mankind. So I go back to the very beginning, education. I go back to teaching by analogy. I go back to an analytical concordance of standards. And this is where I think so many of our efforts, whether in Los Angeles or the center in Los Angeles or in the presentation to the Holy See and to the leadership of the establishment, the Jewish establishment in the State of Israel, or to Muslim leaders, or to the general public, is only a first step in attempting to bring about this reconciliation process by promoting comprehension leading to understanding. And I say about the media, in the broader sense of education, that the process of healing and reconciliation is by its very nature not visibly dramatic. The international media, unfortunately, has a tendency to focus on every tragedy. But I think what is worthy of consideration is the potential component stroke agent for conflict as well as peace, and mechanisms for ensuring that responsible religiosity is practiced. Religiosity that acts responsibly in history. We are all, after all, responsible to one God if we believe, to our shared humanity, and I wish Bertrand Russell was here to teach us some humility. And responsible by definition means answerable to. And after all this, I want to return to the desert. I recognize Broderick Dutton from the University of Durham and Muhammad Shahbaz, who have worked together in developing a balanced environmental program in the desert. In 1924, in this publication of Sayyid Muhammad, I quote, "Impressions in the wilderness. The desert, an austere temple filled with gods. As soon as some water appears, men begin to flourish, and all is spoiled." The desert says, rather once the visit of God than the everyday visit of man. The desert is hostile to man because of the stories it hears from the riverbank. Men call desert that of which the lion has made his empire. For the lion, where are men, there is the desert. In the desert, the surplus population becomes a problem for locusts. In the desert, I have seen herbs, trees, even flowers, plenty of insects, bluebirds, gazelles, camels, wild beasts, and even men. Only all have managed to secure the greatest possible amount of space around them. Man alone complains when he has too much of time and space. He calls that a desert. The desert is aristocratic. Every being there is king. The desert, the great ascetic for whom all is vanity. The forest sings, the desert meditates. The desert, the shrine where silence approaches eternity. 1,000 years are as a day, for the desert as for God, the desert, the virgin land, the land promised to the future has said to the barrenness, keep thyself free for me. The desert slumbers over what was and dreams of what will be. The prophet looks to the desert and sees it covered with harvests to come. The prophet looks toward the cities and sees them change into desert. The desert, the rose-blooming garden of the prophet, the flower of the desert, the prophet, the desert, the great school of the elect of God. 40 years in a city, and a man is done. 40 years in the desert, and Moses begins his work. When the devil and the Son of God wish to have a rendezvous, they choose the desert for its place. The Buddha did not mistake. He left the court of his father for that of the true king in the wilderness. Peace be upon you.